Hello everybody. Can you hear me? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Could you put a plus that you can see me, you can hear me all well, and you are all ready for our epic webinar today. We're going to be talking about magic pills and IELTS. What a lovely topic to talk about on this boiling day. Yeah, we moved in Moscow. We are moving from winter to summer. There's no spring. Lovely. Hello everybody. Yes, hello. Okay, so today I'll be sharing the stuff with you, the super stuff that I've accumulated during many years, and the stuff that I learned from students, from teachers, from IELTS examiners. So yeah, and I'll be in the middle of the webinar. I'm going to be giving you some IELTS goodies and presents, and also at the end of the webinar I'm going to give you some goodies and presents. An IELTS goodie, what is it? Well, I call an IELTS goodie something that I've been creating for 3 days, and you just can download and have it and enjoy it and share it. Yeah, so I have some IELTS goodies for you. Right, for those of you, hello everybody. For those of you, if you don't know me for some reason, I'm an IELTS trainer, a CELTA trainer. I've been an IELTS teacher for ages. I've been rubbing shoulders with IELTS examiners, super experienced IELTS teachers. I used to be an academic director at an official IELTS test centers. Yeah. And now I'm dealing with 2 projects. So I'm doing Your IELTS project. I've created 2 courses, a full writing course for IELTS and a course for teachers, how to prepare students for IELTS course. And also I'm doing a podcast, Success with IELTS podcast. It's not just a podcast, 2.5 million listens already. Okay, people, could you write in the chat that yes, I'm an IELTS teacher, I'm teaching IELTS now, or I want to teach IELTS, I'm already teaching IELTS, are you dealing with IELTS academic, IELTS general? Could you write to me in the chat, okay? Mostly I'm dealing with IELTS academic, but also IELTS general people, so I'm dealing with pretty much everybody, IELTS students and IELTS teachers now. So, our CELTA, I want to say CELTA, no, our IELTS magic for today is we're gonna start off with some like magic pills and like what our students don't know about IELTS and what they do know and what as teachers we should tell our students, okay? Yay, many people are teaching IELTS, cool, excellent, well done you guys. Yeah, IELTS is power. It's a monster exam, but it's very powerful monster, yeah? So, let's take a look at a typical IELTS student, all right? A typical IELTS student goes up to you and says, I'm intermediate, or I'm a low intermediate student, and I need 7.07 band for IELTS. You know, the highest is 9. The level of an educated native speaker is 9, but they are intermediate and they want a 7 in 2 months. So, do you think it's possible? If you take like a B1 student, an intermediate student, and is it possible for this student to move from pretty much intermediate to band 7 for IELTS overall in 2 months? Is it possible? Yes or no in the chat, please. Yes, hello everybody, and hello if you are watching this recording, because many people are watching this recording. Hello. Yeah. Unfortunately, you know, it's really hard to move from intermediate to band 7 in 2 months. Why? Well, it's possible, right? Everything is possible in this life, pretty much. If you invest 6 hours a day into English, if you invest time, effort, if you are really motivated, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you remember Terminator? Arnold Schwarzenegger. He had this Austrian accent because, well, he was born, I think, in Austria. So, and he was dubbed in his films, and then he had to change the accent. So he worked on his own accent so hard he said that I worked on my accent in the same way I worked on my body. And we remember Arnold Schwarzenegger's body, you know, so he spent like ages on his accent to be okay with it, yeah, to make it like more or less okay. So the same here, if your student wants to move from intermediate to band 7 is advanced, yeah, or very strong upper intermediate. It's possible, but they need to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, or they need to invest all their time and effort into English. It's possible. Okay, I'm gonna back it up with some Cambridge materials now. Okay, so the level. All right, are you ready? So here we have some research which was carried out in Australia and New Zealand with students. And the point of this research was that, take a look at this one, at the line that I've highlighted for you. So, advise like 6 weeks to 3 months for half a band. So, if I'm 6, I wanna have 6.5 for IELTS. I need 6 weeks to 3 months of preparation for half a band, right? So, this 0.5. And 6 months to 1 year for a full band. A full band meaning like, okay, from 6 to 7. If I want, as a student, to move from band 6 to band 7, from 6 months to a year, okay? And usually, if we think about it, about this level, right? So I'm intermediate, I want to become upper int, so I go to a language school, right? So take some language courses, and usually one level is 6 months, okay? So why am I on about these levels? Because our students have no idea about this level issue, okay? Our typical IELTS students go to us and say, okay, I need 7, so teach me. They don't understand that to get a 7, they need the level of English, which is pretty much strong upper intermediate. And a question for you. So if I want 6.5, my general English level should be intermediate or upper intermediate? In the chat, please, write in the chat. Our students usually have no idea about, oh, my English should be good enough for me to get a high score for IELTS. They don't think about it. They go to you and say, okay, teach me IELTS. I need IELTS. I need only IELTS. I don't care about general English. I need IELTS. This is wrong. This is where you have to step in and you say, wait, the level of English is important. Yeah. Yes, well done. People are writing in the chat, upper intermediate level, you see? So to reach 6.5 for an IELTS exam, general English should be upper intermediate. You have good skeleton of English, and then you can take this exam, then you can start your preparation. Many teachers ask me, oh Maria, but if my student is pre-intermediate, can they prepare for IELTS and then have 6.5 overall for IELTS? Again, 6.5 is kind of in the middle, right? 9 is the highest score. Pre-intermediates, do they have enough English to read academic texts? Pre-intermediate, do they have enough English to write an essay about agriculture? To describe a graph or to write a letter in general IELTS? I don't think so. So for pre-intermediate people, what we can do, what is achievable, is to introduce the format and then somehow help them with English, yeah, and then they might receive 5 or 5.5 with their pre-intermediate English, okay? So, dear all, please educate your students about the level. Because our students, like 90% of our students, have no idea about the level, okay? We have to tell them. Sometimes I saw situations when a teacher goes, no, it's not possible. It's not possible, just forget about it, your level is too low, so you can just go to hell. Is it a good approach? No, people, unfortunately no. I know it's annoying, and we as teachers are really annoyed. These low-level students want an 8, but really just be tolerant, be nice, well, try to be nice, and just tell them the truth, right? So tell them that, okay, now you are intermediate, this is this level. To be 7 in IELTS, you need to do this, this, and that. Show them an example of a text they're gonna read. Show them an example of an essay. Educate them, explain. Yeah. One more thing is about, I'm not sure which IELTS I need. Which IELTS? You know, now there are many IELTSs. I call them IELTSs. IELTS. We have IELTS Academic, IELTS General, we have IELTS UKVI. Who knows what IELTS UKVI means? Could you write in the comments? What is it? IELTS UKVI. It took me a while to remember what IELTS UKVI means. Well, basically it's just like IELTS for UK visa and immigration. So if you wanna apply for a certain type of visa, you need this IELTS UKVI, which is exactly the same IELTS. It's just more expensive, and they have this enhanced security because the British government requires this security for people to take IELTS, to demonstrate their English skills, and then to use this IELTS result for their visas. Basically, it's the same academic IELTS, but recorded on video. IELTS life skills is necessary if you apply for, again, a certain type of British visa. If, for example, you need a wife's visa, so they need IELTS life skills. Then CDT or PBT. Welcome into the world of abbreviations. I love it. CDT, computer delivered test. PBT, paper-based exam. So before you start preparing your student for IELTS, you need to ask this question. Okay, are you gonna go for computer delivered test or paper-based test? Okay, could you write to me in the comments which test are you preparing your students for, computer or paper-based? Again, it depends on the student which exam to choose from. Computer or paper-based doesn't matter, but again, they should know and they should make the decision before you start preparing them. Why? Well, because the preparation is going to be different. I've heard from some students and also from some teachers who took this CDT, computer delivered test, that the format is pretty tricky. Okay, so you need to get used to the computer delivered test format, all right, to know what's going on. So, how does the student decide which IELTS, IELTS Academic, IELTS General, IELTS UKVI? They have to write to the organization that they need this IELTS for, okay? For organization, for work, for university, they have to write to them to make sure which IELTS is required, all right? And very often I do insist, okay, so have you decided which IELTS? How do you know? Did you write? You know, so as teachers, we do need to ask this and confirm this. Yeah, okay, we have a question from Grigory. Will pricing and marketing be covered in your webinar or just the teaching preparation part? Okay, Grigory, thank you very much for the question. The pricing for my services and courses, yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that, but now we are pretty much with the teaching and preparation bit. Okay, right, so back to our students. So our typical student, right, they can tell you, oh, I do tests all the time, but have low scores, right? So students may have this idea that they need to test themselves all the time, so IELTS tests, IELTS format, tasks, and to get the score. Well, how effective is this if I'm testing myself all the time? Yeah? No, not effective, right? So this testing and this teaching and learning, okay? So if your student thinks that they need to do tests all the time, not a good idea. We need to tell them that, listen, buddy, you need to work on your English. You need to boost your English vocabulary, grammar, academic skills, right? And not only this testing bit, right? So what we should educate our students on is that learning, boosting your English, boosting your general English skills, and also some testing, right? So balance. right? Really often students do with, okay, writing is hard, I need grammar, give me grammar, grammar is the most important thing. Is it? Could you write to me in the chat, is grammar the most important thing during IELTS preparation? Because really often, like again, students moan about this writing essays is difficult. It is difficult, yeah. According to statistics, most students get lower scores for writing. Grammar is not the most crucial bit. Yeah, the same with vocabulary. So, oh, writing is hard, I need high-level words. Speaking is difficult, I need high-level words. They will save me. This is my like a magic pill. High-level words. If I know high-level words, I will have a high score. This is wrong. Okay, people? Yeah. Grammar is not the most important bit, and high-level vocabulary, well, may not help you in certain cases. Why? For example, if we take an IELTS essay, doesn't matter IELTS General, IELTS Academic, there are 4 assessment criteria against which the essay is assessed. The first criterion is task response, so pretty much how well you address the task. Then coherence, cohesion, logic and organization. Lexical resource is only one of the criteria. Okay, grammatical range and accuracy is also one of the criteria, right? So many students forget that to get a good score for writing, they do need to have a good score for task response and coherence cohesion, not only language. Now, attention everybody. Language resource and grammar, this is language. This is how they assess our language. Yes, vocabulary and grammar. Okay? But the first 2 criteria are about, drum roll, academic skills, okay? So it's not enough to know only the language. Academic skills come into play. What do you think are, what are these academic skills? Any ideas in the chat? So you see, to have a good score for writing, I do need to have some academic skills and language. If I only rely on language, I'm gonna go down with my academic skills. And really often, again, I think like 95% of our students have no idea about this, right? They think, okay, language, grammar, vocabulary, words, present perfect. No, not only this. Again, this is true if we talk about like 7 and above, 6.5 even, right? If your students need 5.5, 6, okay, it's okay, they can just forget about this. But again, even for a 6, they need to address the task. Yeah? Logic, yes, Grigory, absolutely, you're on the ball. So you do need logic, right? And these logically organized essays, this is one of the academic skills, right? Okay, in the state exam, grammar, yeah. Okay, the state exam, I know many teachers are preparing students for the state exam. IELTS is a little bit different. Well, sometimes it is different. So be very careful when you compare the state exam and IELTS, okay? Because an IELTS essay is different from the state exam. IELTS speaking is different. So there are striking differences, so be very careful. So people, academic skills, the way you address the task, right? Organizing, paragraphing, right? All this comes into play, not only language. And as teachers, as professional IELTS teachers, we need to let our students know about academic skills. The question to you now, so writing, task response, so IELTS essay. If I don't address the task fully, if I address only part of the task, for example, IELTS essay asks me to answer 2 questions, I only answer 1 question. Or IELTS essay asks me to discuss problems and solutions, but I write only 1 problem and 1 solution. So I don't address the task fully, right? So if I don't address the task fully, what happens? to task response, to one of the 4 criteria. What band? Band is IELTS score. They call them IELTS bands, IELTS scores from 1 to 9. So for this criterion, what do you think? In the comments, could you throw some answers? Let's brainstorm. If a student doesn't address the task fully, what band can I get for task response? Again, one of the criteria. What do you think? Okay, we have a question. Can you recommend any good books for practicing cohesion? Ooh, good question. Tatiana, I'd say go to IELTS Advantage, this purple lovely book. They have some exercises on cohesion and referencing, as well as like examples. So there are some good exercises. IELTS Advantage, Delta Publishing. Also Collins books, IELTS Writing, Collins has some nice exercises where students make sentences. So check out those books, IELTS Advantage and IELTS Writing, Collins. Okay. Right. Okay, so yeah, we have some answers. So people, yeah, if I don't address the task fully, so pretty much is 5 for task response. You see, this criterion suffers a lot, right? So if my language is super cool, super advanced, right? So all these lovely, gorgeous words in my essay, but I don't address the task, so my vocabulary is going to be 7, okay, but my task response is going to be 5 or 6, right, depending how bad it is. Academic skills are going to drag me down. Students have no idea about this, okay? They rely only on the language, because this is what is taught usually, the language, grammar. You now, as a professional IELTS teacher, should educate students on academic skills. And Irena, if I pronounce your name correctly, sorry, summarizing, referencing, developing arguments, supporting your ideas, writing effective examples, having logic, you know, not just being all over the place in my essay. Oh, yes, that's a nice idea, I'm going to include this. Oh, yes, this is also good. No. Narrowing it all down to a nice paragraph. This what many students lack. I'd say most of them lack. This has to be taught. You have to teach academic skills. You have to develop their academic skills if your students want 6.5 and above. For 6, don't bother. Still, but for a 6, they need to address the task somehow. Yeah. Right. So, academic skills, people. And I have a checklist for my students and also for teachers who I train on my IELTS for Teachers course. So we have this task response, task achievement checklist, like ACE, task response, ACE, like be successful, right? So these questions are often disregarded. Students don't pay attention. They are focused so much on the language that they don't pay attention to these ones. So, have I answered the essay question? Yeah? Like, have I read it properly? Have I understood the essay question? Yeah, to start off with. Am I off topic? Right? So, for example, like, they write the essay and then they read the essay again. Yes, they have to read the essay again to proofread, right? They usually proofread for language, but they also should proofread for this. Am I off topic, right? Have I ignored some part of the task? Because if your student ignored some part of the task achievement, task response, nah, 5, goodbye, yeah. Goodbye, my 7. So, a clear position. Is my position clear for the examiner, right? Or not clear? So, my ideas, are they clear? Have I supported my main ideas, or just I have a list of main ideas? This is very often disregarded, so we don't pay attention to that. And also, if, for example, I train new IELTS teachers, and well, I used to be a new IELTS teacher myself 10 years ago. So when I started teaching IELTS, I focused mostly on language, because again, I didn't know how to deal with this. Off topic, on topic, address the task, don't address the task. It's really difficult, yeah? So I focused only on language. But now you know that grammar and vocabulary are only part of the equation. Okay. Right. Okay, so I'm talking about certain things in more detail on my IELTS course for teachers. So again, we discuss how task achievement influences the band score, what to do about it, and what band I can have for like each criterion. We assess different graphs, we assess essays, and so if you're interested, you can take a look. And the course starts at the end of May, so 31st of May. We are continuing with a new course for IELTS teachers, so take a look. Yeah, the 31st of May. And again, if you are an IELTS teacher, and I have many IELTS teachers here, and again, if you have difficulties with assessment, if you can't band an essay, yeah, we call it to band an essay, like it's difficult for me to band a graph, basically to give a band score for a graph or for a letter or for an essay. So if you are into this, if you want to kind of upgrade your IELTS teaching skills, so take a look at the course. I have very nice reviews about the course, and many teachers have told me that yes, Maria, it is useful. And it is useful, you know. We have theory and we have practice on the course. So we have actually live Zoom sessions or offline training. And yesterday we were having a session on IELTS activities and games, and we were discussing the thing about the level. So how long should you go like from band 6 to band 7? Can it take like 1 month or 2 months, or is it impossible? Yeah, so pretty much what we've talked about earlier, and I showed you this research from Cambridge. So we talked about it yesterday, and one of my teachers, she sent the PDF about Cambridge. Yeah, really useful stuff. Okay, back to our typical IELTS students. Some students can say, oh, I've done listening. Oh, sorry, there's a mistake. Listening? No, listening, okay. So they've done listening once, okay, and it was 8, okay, I don't need any practice with listening. And some students, they do tell me, oh, Maria, okay, so my listening and reading are okay, I just want to focus on writing and speaking. Is it a good idea to listen to the student and say, yes, we're gonna focus only on writing and speaking? In the comments, what do you think? Is it a good idea just to focus on these 2 skills, or you need to check how well they are doing at listening and reading too, you know, just to be on the safe side that they don't mess up these skills? Or it's okay to focus only on writing? Thank you, Tatiana, for your nice comment. Yeah, so you see, I've had some students who go, okay, so Maria, I don't need a listening practice, let's just focus on reading, right? Or let's focus only on writing. No, the last time I had such a student, it was, we focused only on writing, so we did only writing. Okay, he didn't want to do any reading. And then you guys, so he did the test. He got 7 for writing and he got like 6 for reading or listening, I don't remember. But one of these receptive skills got him down and go, oh my god, like why? So, and it was really difficult for him to get a 7 for writing, and so we were preparing for writing and he got 7, and then yeah, 6 for reading. So don't believe your student that they're gonna say, oh yes, my listening is good, my reading is good. Check it. Okay, always check it, and sometimes you need to do some reading bits in class. Okay, dear teachers, yes, we do some true, false, not given in class to illustrate the strategies, right? The strategies, IELTS strategies and IELTS method. This is the magic pill. Yeah, this is the pill that you feed your students how to deal with true, false, not given, how to do this yes, no, not given task, how to do these headings in reading, right? The method is your pill, right? So do check that they are fine with listening and reading, and do some listening exercises in class. I'm not saying like do the full reading test in class. No, take true, false, not given, take 5 statements, illustrate the strategies, do these 5 statements with them. That's all, you know, and then do what they want to do, like writing. The same with listening. Listening section 3. Really difficult. Like many students say, it's the hardest listening section 3, because it's a dialogue. It's a dialogue about an academic topic. Teachers, like a tutor, is talking to some students about, I know, course paper, dissertation. Yeah, and this is like academic skills. You need to infer meaning, infer attitude sometimes, right? So inference. So guessing from context. So this is difficult. So just take listening section 1, do it in class. Again, like maybe 3 questions only to illustrate the strategy. Yeah. And the final bit, this give me a list of. Your students might say, oh, give me a list of high-level words for me to get a high score in writing or in speaking. And we are closely like coming to IELTS Magic Pill. Or I call this magic pill, give me a list of grammar. Who has a similar situation? Could you write in the chat that's like, yeah, I've had such an experience. So students did ask me for a list of all IELTS topics, or a list of like all IELTS essays. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Olga, absolutely. We do prepare our students for everything. Again, the focus might be on like writing, so more writing or more speaking, depending on the student, right? But make sure that you cover all the skills. So, give me a list. Very often IELTS students ask us as teachers, so give me a list of all IELTS topics. A list of words that I can use and get band 8, a list of grammar structures, a list of hard words to spell, and they think that, okay, it's this magic pill that they take and they're gonna get band 8. Unfortunately, no. Sorry. Yeah, the truth, the reality is that it's not as simple as that. Yeah, especially if your student needs band 8, because band 8 is pretty much where flying high in the sky, it's advanced, and band 8 is really advanced. It's C1 level of English, right? But we can give our students some magic pills. And are you ready for some IELTS goodies? Some IELTS goodies and presents. So I've created some really nice quality materials for you guys, for everybody to use, and I'm throwing now a link to a Google Drive with some lists, with some magic pills that you can give to your students. So now it's in the chat, it's for free to you. Enjoy, use, just send it to all your students, to all your colleagues, so feel free to do that. It took me some time to create those, but again, I think these materials are really useful. So first of all, I've just sent you a list of some linking words, that students can use in graphs and essays. You can give them a list. Yeah, okay, so they can remember these words and use them in their writing. For a 6, it's okay. To get a 7, is also okay to use some, memorized linking words. To get an 8 and above, You should be more creative because we are thinking advanced. Yeah, so it's not enough to just memorize some cliches, yeah, for an 8. No, not enough. Also, there is a list with words hard to spell, right? Again, it could be a magic pill for some people, for some students who have difficulties with spelling. I've created a list of words which are difficult to spell and also words which are commonly used in IELTS listening. Yeah, there are some words which are common IELTS listening answers. Yeah, I know. So students can learn these words to be more confident with spelling, and also you can take a look at my article on the website. The link is in the comments, or you can just, if you're watching the recording, you just email me or write to me on Facebook, Instagram. I can send you the list. Yeah, so it's really useful for those who have difficulty with spelling. So they just have a list. Okay, they learn the words and Bob's your uncle. They are more confident with spelling. So this is a magic pill, you know, agree? Okay, a list of idioms. Ooh, with this one, it's tricky. Because, what do you think? To get a band 9, the highest IELTS score for speaking, for example, do I have to use idioms? Right? So must I use idioms to get an IELTS highest band score 9 for speaking? Could you write to me in the comments, yes or no? Is it okay if I use only phrasal verbs and to get a band 9 score? Or I must use some idioms? Actually, people, I'm okay with phrasal verbs. Yeah, used metaphorically. To get a band 9 score, so you don't have to use idioms. And I'll tell you more, if you're not sure, like if you're not 200% sure how to use this idiom, don't use it at all, okay? Because an idiom used inappropriately and might sound unnatural, and the examiner will spot it and like, ooh, are you trying to impress me? Like to show it off that, okay, so you've learned Bob's your uncle and now you're just using this idiom. Again, just to be on the safe side, don't use idioms in your IELTS speaking unless you are 200% sure. So I wouldn't give my students a list of idioms. So phrasal verbs, yeah, phrasal verbs are our friends. Phrasal verbs could be used, they are really useful. Again, phrasal verbs are idiomatic language, right? And if we look at official IELTS band descriptors, it says idiomatic language, not idioms, you see? So, yeah. Again, if you are interested in what vocabulary you should use, you can have a look at my webinar where I speak about vocabulary and idioms and what is this idiomatic language is all about. So yeah, we have a question. Is it allowed to use American spelling in IELTS tests or UK spelling? Yeah, Grigory, thank you very much. That's a good question. You can use either American spelling or British spelling. It's absolutely fine. The same with speaking. You can use American English, British English, doesn't matter. But they say it's better to stick to one English. So if it's British English, stick to British English and write with British English. Yeah. All right. Yeah, both are fine. Absolutely. Okay, lovely. Yeah, grammar structures, a list of grammar structures. Yes, you can give your students this magic pill, and in the link that I've sent you, there is a list of grammar structures for your IELTS graphs, okay? You see, so we can give the students some magic pills, right? So we can give them some lists. They love lists. But as teachers, we do understand that if I learn all the grammar structures from this list and use them mechanically in my essay, this will not give me band 8, maybe not band 7, okay? All this mechanically, I learn something and I use it mechanically, you know, mechanically. This is like band 5, band 6, or maybe even 6.5. It's okay. But for band 7 and above, I need the language, right? I need more creativity. I need, I mustn't have this mechanically used. Yeah, that's why linking goes in the middle of the sentence for a higher score rather than always at the beginning of the sentence. Yeah. For example, however, blah blah blah. On the other hand, blah blah blah. For band 7 and above, usually for band 8 and above, we do need some linking in the middle of the sentence, blah blah blah, whereas, blah blah, blah blah, while, blah blah, you see, blah blah, ultimately, blah blah, in the middle, referencing, right? Somebody has mentioned referencing before, when we use pronouns to refer back and forth, right? Referencing is pretty much difficult to do, yeah? So this is high level. But if you do have an intermediate student, low intermediate students, kind of in the middle of intermediate level, you can give them this, all right? So make your students happy, send them these IELTS goodies, and they're going like, oh yeah, okay, I'm more relaxed now. Okay, why not? All right. So we've been talking about vocabulary. And vocabulary doesn't mean idioms, give me a list of idioms. It means topic-specific vocabulary. Who understands what I'm talking about? Could you give me a plus in the comments? Topic-specific vocabulary, does it ring a bell? Does it ring a bell or not really much? Because if I'm talking band 8, 7.5, even 7, I need topic-specific vocabulary. Sometimes we call it topical vocabulary. Topical vocabulary is vocabulary that we use about a specific topic. Okay, so for example, here, if you take a look, I have speaking part 2 task. So IELTS speaking part 2, when the examiner gives you a topic, right? And the examiner asks you to speak from 1 to 2 minutes about the topic. And here I have a topic about traveled, a time you traveled by public transport. So to score high on vocabulary criterion, I do need specific words related only to transport, to public transport. Take a look at this list I have here and put a plus in the comments that yes, Maria, it's topic-specific vocabulary. I'm happy with this vocabulary. It's this topical vocabulary. It shows a range, and the examiner will be happy to hear these collocations, these phrases from a student who is going to talk about traveled by public transport. Yeah, I agree with you guys. Many people have put a plus. Absolutely. You see, it's very specific. It's about public transport, specific collocations. Okay, there are no idioms. Okay, that's fine, all right? But it's very specific. A long commute, there you go. It's used as a noun. Usually we say, oh, I commute to school by by bus, by bicycle, yeah. Oh, it was a long commute. A noun. Efficient public transport, right? Like during rush hour, you might be sitting there thinking, oh, Maria, it's very simple, you know, it's like band 6 vocabulary. I need something high level, I need something posh, give me some idiomatic language. It's fine, relax, really, and tell your students to take it easy, okay? Sometimes topic-specific vocabulary is more important than idioms, okay? So there's no need to cram in these idioms to kind of, you know, squeeze in this idiomatic language. This will be very good to use naturally and accurately. Don't forget about this, naturally and accurately, right? So that the examiner kind of, they don't notice that, okay, you are using these high-level words, collocations, right? But they do notice that you are using topic-specific vocabulary. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is another magic pill that we can give to our students, topic-specific vocabulary. Unfortunately, if your students have 2 months, it's very difficult to kind of give them this topic-specific vocabulary, because can I have a list of all IELTS topics? Yes or no in the comments. is there a list of all IELTS topics? Because again, many students ask me, oh, give me a list of IELTS essay topics, of IELTS speaking topics. I need to have a list. Unfortunately, no. Yes, because there are so many topics in IELTS writing, in IELTS speaking. Topics change, right? Again, you can give them general topics: education, transport, technology, what else? Learning languages, right? Some general topics, but specific questions, no. Now we have new topics in IELTS speaking. Yeah, in May they released beautiful new topics. So if you want new topics in IELTS speaking, you can take a look at my article here. This is only about speaking part 1 topics, so the link is in the chat. And soon I'll have new topics for IELTS speaking part 2 and 3. So to stay updated, you can subscribe to Instagram that I have for IELTS teachers. It's gonna be there all for free for you, like lists of topics that I've started creating. Again, it takes some time because I have to read through many internet sources, pretty much throughout the whole internet, to make sure that yes, they are current topics, and to have questions, right? So I do spend some time on this, or ages actually. So yeah, we have a question: how you practice learning a lot of vocabulary with your students? Okay, first of all, a good question. So how to practice this new vocabulary? So you can, one thing that I've been doing about new vocabulary and new vocabulary practice is I ask my students to listen to a podcast that's a podcast where I and Rory are discussing recent IELTS questions, and Rory from Scotland gives high-level answers, and then I ask my students to listen to this episode, for example, about farms and farming, okay, in speaking part 1, yes. And then they listen to the episode, they read the script. The script page is in the comments, the link. The student reads the script and chooses high-level words. Not all of them, they can choose 3 words from one episode, and then they check them up, they spend some time with this, and then they can write sentences, easy sentences, like one sentence with one new word, okay? And then when in the lesson you ask them questions about farms and farming, they should use the words that they've chosen, speaking about the topic you're asking them about, right? So activation, right? So choose the vocabulary that you particularly wanna remember, that your student, yeah? So the student chooses the vocabulary they want to remember. Again, 2-3 words, right? Okay, maximum, I don't know, 7 words per topic. That's enough. Yeah, speaking part 1 topic, farms and farming. So again, 5 words they want to remember about farms. Then in the lesson, they have to use these words talking about farms. Yes, I agree that speaking only once, like using the words once, is not enough. No, that's why the smartphones come into play. They have to write lists, they have to spend some time with this vocabulary, they have to kind of write them down somewhere, they have to use them in speaking, they have to listen to them. That's why podcasts, right? So they can re-listen to these episodes and hearing these words again and again. Yeah, absolutely. Once is not enough, twice is not enough, 3 times, yeah. Okay, very often students ask me, how many mistakes can I make to get a 7? Yeah, so 7 for writing, how many mistakes? How many? Again, if you wanna answer to this question about where I talk about slips and errors, you can take a look at my Instagram, and there is a post there about native kind of mistakes. So not mistakes, like slips what native speakers usually make, because to get a 9 for writing you are allowed to make slips characteristic of native speakers. So what are these slips? There is a post on my Instagram. Okay, so how many mistakes? we have to turn to official IELTS band descriptors to answer these questions about mistakes. Let's take a look. So, official writing band descriptors tell us that at band 9, we are allowed to make only slips. Again, characteristic of native speakers. Band 8, occasional errors. There is no number, you see? Or you can make only 2 errors and this is going to be band 8. No, right? Occasional. Here, band 7, frequent error-free sentence. There is no number. Again, dear teacher, you need to tell your student that, listen, we don't have a specific number. This is what we have. You can show official band descriptors to your student. At 6, they have some errors in grammar, right? But again, these errors don't reduce our communication, right? So I make errors, but the examiner reads and understands everything, okay? This is important. At band 6, if the student makes errors and examiner reads and doesn't understand, it goes down to 5 or 4. So errors are okay as long as the examiner understands what you are writing. So now we are giving bands, and again, if you wanna dive into this assessment, like how to assess what band to give, is it a 6 or 7 or 8.5, right? What is a 9? All these assessments I cover in my IELTS for Teachers course, and again, we go in depth, right? Because now, for example, I'm studying at NILE online, so I'm taking this IELTS for Teachers online course at NILE. I paid 40,000 rubles for this course. Yeah, I know. So, and I have this knowledge from the course and from my own experience, so pretty much all the knowledge is in the course for you. Yeah, I'm an asset, to be honest. Yeah, I can give you some useful things, about assessment. Okay, what do examiners do? A couple of things that I learned from examiners and ex-IELTS examiners, and also from this IDP Australia webinar that I listened to, and a very experienced IELTS examiner or ex-IELTS examiner, I'm not sure, was talking about what examiners do. Actually, I was asking questions. So, did you know that one examiner reads the graph and another reads the essay? So it's not just one examiner reads your graph and the essay. 2 examiners. Yeah, and an examiner just gives 4 bands, 4 criteria. So one examiner reads a graph and gives 4 bands. So 4 criteria, 4 bands, right? The examiner doesn't calculate an overall score for writing. Yeah. An experienced examiner can read your essay only once. Yes, dear teachers, we spend ages reading and grading one essay, but an experienced examiner can read the essay once and give it a band. Low-level essays and high-level essays, like band 9 essay, are more difficult to band because an examiner might want to spend more time. But again, I've heard stories that they just read it once and they just put a band. Again, experienced examiners, right? Usually the examiner reads the essay several times. The examiner does count every word, okay? If the student takes a paper-based exam, yes, the examiners do count words. They take no notes. So we as teachers assume that, examiners check the writing, they take notes, they correct the mistakes. No, they just read the essay or a graph and no notes, they just band it, okay? And what do you think? The question is, where is writing checked? Who checks it? Who checks the writing? Because speaking is checked at an official IELTS test center by IELTS speaking examiners who work for this particular center. But what about writing? Where is writing checked? Could you write to me in the comments? Where do you think writing is checked? And we have a question in the comments. Can you recommend books to teach listening or online resources? A good question, thank you. So, books to teach listening, I'd recommend Take Cambridge Tests, because these are the tests pretty much similar to exam tests. Cambridge Tests 13, 14, 15 is the freshest book. And using the tests, you can do different things to develop listening skills. Again, by doing different activities, not only exam format listening. A good book is Complete IELTS, Complete Guide to IELTS. I mean National Geographic book. It's yellow and black. National Geographic Complete Guide to IELTS. There are many different listening tasks, strategies. It's full of useful things. And Advantage listening is also a good one. Yeah. So Complete Guide to IELTS and Cambridge Tests. Okay. All right. So writing is checked on screen. Okay. So I go to an IELTS center. I take an exam. Right. Then my essay is scanned and sent to a hub, to a special place, somewhere. Yeah, or like online server, and then the examiners they take the writing and they check the writing on screen, meaning online. They check it online, and again there are trained examiners who work, I know, in different countries, so pretty much in Australia, Canada, and Great Britain, right? And from this hub, this writing goes to different people, and they who check the writing online. Okay. If you take a computer-delivered test, so computer-delivered test is sent to examiners to be checked online. Okay, people. Now, have you got more questions about assessment, about anything really? So we've talked about some magic pills, so some lists that we can send to our students. So do you have any questions about that? Again, the link to the Google Drive with IELTS goodies is there for you. If you've missed something, could you write to me on Facebook, Instagram with your questions? Right. Yeah, for those of you who are planning like to teach IELTS or who want more training in terms of assessment, how to assess, how to grade stuff. So the IELTS for Teachers course starts on the 31st of May, okay? And again, I've paid pretty much 40,000 rubles for how to prepare students for IELTS course, and for you, it's going to be much less. Yeah. And you know, there are very few courses now in the world. I'm talking like worldwide. So very few courses for IELTS teachers. You know, there are some courses, again, Nile has a course. In Moscow, there is some training, but again, so few. Yeah, and all the course pretty much is all organized in these lovely units, and you have different information, like maybe more than enough. So for you to cherry pick. Yeah, so I give you maximum, and then you cherry pick. Oh, okay, so this is useful for me. I'm gonna do this, this, and this. Yeah, so everybody will find something useful, right? So I give you maximum, and from this maximum, oh, okay, so you kind of you can take maximum, yeah, if you wish, but you can also cherry pick, which is lovely. Okay, people. Yeah, in terms of prices, yeah, so I give you some prices. So pretty much if you want some official training, some training to be an IELTS teacher, and again some insights into assessment, how to teach IELTS, resources, what books, online, offline, like what do I do, how do I teach listening, how do I take the book, and how do I do this, right? Again, there are very few courses. Yeah, I have a special price again for my course. The course starts on the 31st of May, so take a look. So this is the price, and it's gonna go up, right? It's gonna go up, I think tomorrow. Tech support, when are the prices going up? Yeah, so, and one of the comments from one of the teachers who is doing now the course is got like, Maria, you should charge more for this course. Oh well, I want to be useful to people. So yeah, some people say that, okay, you should charge more because of the resource library. Yeah, I do have a massive resource library with all the books in one place. This is pretty useful. Okay, right. Again, have you got any questions so far about IELTS, about lists, about topics, about what our students don't know? Could you write to me now? Anything that you want to ask me about? Yeah, if you want an update about IELTS fresh topics, again, we have new topics, please subscribe to the Instagram, and I'm gonna be posting some lists and PDFs with new IELTS topics. Okay, and if you want some IELTS course, like writing course, I have a full writing course for you, and only for you I have this limited offer. Usually this course is almost 5,000 rubles, because like videos and lots of materials and everything is on one platform, and you can use it like from your smartphone, from a PC, so it's pretty solid, and over 200 people have already invested into the course, so it's pretty solid. So usually it's like 5,000 rubles, but now with this code you can get 50% off, so about 2,000 something. So only limited, and it's valid only for today until tomorrow. So if you're interested, take a look. If you are interested in more projects for you, so on the 29th of May, I have an offline meetup. We are organizing this offline meetup with IELTS Speaking for Success podcast, with this 2 million and 2.5 million listens. Yeah, for teachers, for students. So write to me if you're interested. And pre-CELTA training is this week, this Saturday, if you are thinking to do a CELTA course. So you can write to me, and I'll give you details about my pre-CELTA training, and pretty much how to teach IELTS course starts on the 31st of May if you're interested. Okay, questions now, comments. All right, we have questions in the chat. Is it possible to get updates about your current courses offers on a regular basis? Yes, Olga, thank you very much. A very good question. So if you could subscribe to the Instagram, I have the Instagram account only for IELTS teachers, right? So this is Instagram, and there I post on all the updates. Again, the Instagram account has really useful posts about topics, about fresh topics, about techniques, and somebody, Tatiana, I think you were asking about listening. So I'm going to post, and I have posted some insights about resources, about books, about what examiners do, how they check things. There's a video about this disagreement that examiners have about IELTS, so do check it out. So all the updates are there. What kind of certificate do teachers get upon completion of your 8-week course? A good question, Anna, thank you. You get a certificate that you are an IELTS teacher and you've completed this course, so how many hours, what you've done. And again, you can write on your CV that, okay, I'm a trained, like a qualified IELTS teacher, right? So I've done an IELTS course. It looks good on your CV. Yes, Olga, the recording of this webinar is available. Yeah, if you register for this webinar, you have registered and you got a link. So we are gonna email you the recording to this webinar. Again, guys, if you have any questions about IELTS, you can find me on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook. Just drop a question there. So find me and ask your question, okay? I'm more than happy to give you some insights and to be helpful to you and give you all the answers, okay? So write to me, really. And just in general, just write to me with your students' questions, with anything. Okay, yes, and if you're into listening to podcasts, you can take a look at this website. Again, we have transcripts, we discuss current IELTS topics, and it's pretty useful, yeah, for your students and also for teachers, because many of our listeners are English teachers, and some students have taken IELTS already and they still listen to the podcast because I know it's just fun, you know. Okay, people, thank you very much for your attention. Wow, it's been more than an hour. Well done. Are you okay? Hopefully. So, thank you very much again. I'll see you on social media. Well, it's a small world. So I hopefully I'm gonna bump into you somewhere online or offline even. Yeah, the teacher's world is a small world. So, yeah. Thank you very much for your questions. If I haven't answered any questions, just find me. Hugs and kisses, everybody.